I sat at my desk in the small, isolated town of Oakwood, staring down at the snowy landscape. Winter had set in, and with it came a sense of unease. Everyone knew the legends of the Wendigo that roamed these parts, but we all brushed it off as a mere superstition. However, something about the frigid air and barren trees made me feel like it was more than just a myth. I had just finished my shift at the local gas station when I got a call from my uncle, who lived on the outskirts of town. He sounded frantic, his voice shaking as he asked me to come over immediately. Without hesitation, I made my way to his house, only to find it eerily quiet when I arrived. I called out for my uncle, but there was no response. As I cautiously made my way through the empty house, a chill ran down my spine. I had a sinking feeling that something was not right. Suddenly, I heard a loud thud coming from the basement. Ignoring my instinct to run, I crept towards the basement door. As I opened it, a putrid smell hit me in the face, causing me to gag. The basement was pitch black, and I could barely make out of any shapes in the darkness. But as I turned on the lights, my heart stopped. My uncle's body lay mangled on the floor, his limbs torn apart. I stumbled backward in shock, fighting for the urge to scream. That's when I saw it. A tall, emaciated figure standing in the shadows. His eyes were sunken and glowing with a fierce hunger as it stared at me with a wild, twisted grin. I knew immediately that it was the Wendigo. All those stories I had scoffed were immediately coming to life in front of me. I could feel its gaze burning into me, and I knew that I need to get out of there fast. I ran as fast as I could, my heart pounding in my chest, not daring to look back. I could hear the Wendigo's heavy footsteps behind me, its growls echoing through the house. It was getting on me, and I knew I wouldn't make it to the front door in time. In a desperate move, I darted into the nearest room, slamming the door behind me and barricading it with whatever furniture I could find. I could hear the Wendigo clawing at the door, its monstrous roars filling the room. I closed my eyes and prayed for it to go away. But when the door suddenly burst open, my heart stopped. The Wendigo stood before me, its twisted silhouette outlined by the moonlight streaming through the window. With a guttural snarl, it charged towards me. In a panic, I threw a lamp at it, hoping it to slow it down. To my surprise, it worked. The Wendigo let out a furious howl as the lamp shattered against his face, giving me enough time to escape through the window. I landed it on the snowy ground with a thud, my heart still racing as I sprinted towards the nearest road. I didn't stop running until I reached the police station, where I frantically banged on the door until someone finally answered. Gasping for air, I told them what had happened, but I could see the skepticism in their eyes. They had probably heard all the Wendigo stories before and thought I was just another person playing a prank. However, they couldn't deny the gruesome scene at my uncle's house. A search team was immediately sent out to the property, but by the time they arrived, the Wendigo was long gone. My uncle's body was found, and an autopsy revealed that he had been killed by an unknown creature. The whole town was in shock, and the stories of the Wendigo became even more terrifying. From that day on, I couldn't shake the feeling that the Wendigo was watching me. I could feel its presence every time I was alone, and I could hear its growls in the distance. I knew that it was still out there, hungry and waiting for its next victim. In the following weeks, there were more sightings of the Wendigo, and people started disappearing one by one. But no matter how hard we try, we couldn't catch it. It seemed to have a supernatural power, being able to hide in plain sight and disappear without a trace. As the months went by, the town of Oakwood became a ghost town. People were too scared to leave their homes, and those who did vanished without trace. It was like the Wendigo had taken over, claiming the town as its own. I was one of the few remaining survivors in Oakwood, hiding out in my uncle's house. Every night, I would hear the Wendigo's haunting calls, and I knew it was only a matter of time it found me. But I refused to give up without a fight. One night, as the Wendigo approached, I made a decision. I ran out of the house, armed with every weapon I could find, and came face to face with the creature. It snarled at me, its eyes filled with hunger, but I didn't back down. In the end, it was a fierce battle. We fought tooth and nail, but in the end, I managed to drive a stake through its heart, ending its reign of terror. As the Wendigo crumbled to ash before my eyes, a sense of relief washed over me. The nightmare was finally over. Years have passed since that incident, and Oakwood has now been abandoned. No one wants to live in that town that was once terrorized by a creature straight out from our worst fears. But I will never forget what happened that winter, and I will always make sure to warn anyone who ventures too close to Oakwood. The legend of the Wendigo lives on, a reminder of the horrors that can lurk in the most unexpected places. And I will always remember the terrifying truth that sometimes our deepest fears are based on more than just superstition.